this Transformers figure can actually play music. This is the Transformers music label Soundwave, and as stated before, it is an actual MP3 player. And this thing looks pretty gorgeous, just like you. When I made my short of this video, a lot of people kept saying Dangpods or Jobby should review this video, but I beat them to it. Let me have this one, please. Here at the top of the flap has some information that I'm not able to read. I believe this was a Japanese only release. Also, a lot of people kept asking where to get this from, and the answer to that is eBay. Because this guy came out in 2007, so they don't make these anymore. We're gonna take a quick look at the box art first before we get into the figure itself. And I'm totally not just doing that so I can artificially inflate the runtime of this video. Here's the side, bottom, and the back, and you can see I paid $90 for this at a retro toy store. Now, fun fact here, they actually made 3 different color variations of this. This is what the original color looked like, but I got the spark blue version because that's the one they have, and I like it much better because it's show accurate. Now let's open it up. It comes with a little card, which I cannot read any of. Besides this, cries and screams are music to my ears. Now that's relatable because I'm crying and screaming every day from the horrors of being alive. And yes, I am in therapy. A little instruction booklet, and it's all in Japanese, and you can tell by my skin color I'm from the other side of Asia. But me, caveman brain, do understand pictures. Here's a quick look at this, promoting some other items that came out at the time. This version of Optimus I do really want. It is a speaker for an iPod. I do want to review this figure, but I currently don't have a job anymore, so make sure to subscribe and check out my Patreon if you want, which is only $1 a month, and I'll be posting my toy photography there. Now there's also 2 earphones you can buy, Frenzy and Rumble. Unfortunately, I don't have those. Here's the back of that, promoting all the movie toys that came out at the time, and a little roadshow as well. Here's the figure itself, and it looks really good. Got a very nice, simple, clean look to it. It's very faithful to the original design. The underside looks very clean. Here's the back, and it takes 1 AAA battery. Here are the sides, and here's the top of the figure. And that's the headphone jack, and that is the eject button. It also comes with 4 pair of extra hands, his blaster, and his launcher. And this part plugs into the headphone jack. And it's purely for aesthetic purposes, it doesn't really do anything. And you're gonna want to stick around to see what music I put on this. And a pair of headphones that probably suck. Since this is an actual MP3 player, all these buttons here are pressable. And this thing takes mini SD cards, not micro SD cards. So here's a regular SD card, this is a micro SD card, and these are mini SD cards. Mini SD cards weren't even widely used at the time, so I don't know what made them want to go with these. So I ended up buying 2 of these mini SD cards, but then I forgot I don't have a card reader for a mini SD card, so I got one of those off eBay. But even though this says mini SD, it doesn't actually read mini SD cards. Like, none of these slots are for it. So I just ordered a micro SD card with a mini SD card adapter, which many of you told me to do, and I probably should have listened. But does this look like the face of a smart person to you? Now, a thing to note is that this only takes up to 1 GB of memory, but according to the TF Wiki, it might be able to take up 2 GB. And now onto the transformation, which you can see is super simple. First, you want to flip out the hands, and then bring out the arms, bring out the legs, twist the legs on both sides, and then you twist this part and bring the legs down. Bring out the feet, bring out the back side of the feet as well, bring the arms forward, and then you slide this back to pop out the head. And now in robot mode, I think this figure looks gorgeous. The colors look nice, and it's got the simple blocky look like Soundwave should. It is a very simple figure with some decent articulation. The head can only move side to side and not 360. It can look up and down a little bit. The arms can go 360. They can go out about that much. The elbows can bend, and the arms can move around 360 on the joints like that. And the hands can also move 360. The legs can't really do the splits, but they can go 90 degrees and go back about that far. The legs also have a bend to them. He comes with some fisty hands for fisting, pair of trigger hands to hold his blaster, which can go on either side, and it is a tight fit, so it's not going to be falling out anytime soon. And lastly, you get 2 ejector hands, so you can have his hand up kind of like this. I'm not sure why there's one on the other hand, maybe so he can press his buttons. I do not like how that looks. We're just gonna move that aside. And now, I'm no Dankpods, but in terms of an MP3 player, this is not very good. It's just very simplistic. All you have are these volume buttons, play buttons, and forward and back. This thing is meant to be more of a novelty than anything else. Honestly, I wouldn't take this anywhere with me, because it already has some stress marks on it, and some paint is coming off a little bit. Also because I have a smartphone with Spotify, and this is outdated tech. And I've really just had this as a display piece on a shelf. So, to play music, you press the eject button, take your mini SD card and stick it in. Now, I'm not sure if other other people have this problem, but I cannot get the mini SD card to stay in. And you really have to fiddle with it. To turn it on, you hold down the play button, and let me get some speakers. Let's turn that on. Plug it in, and hit play. I am not original or clever. I added some sound clips from the show as well. And this one I'm gonna have to talk over, sorry about that, but this is the Transformers Cybertron theme. Now let's see how the headphones sound. Okay, you can stop. I may not know much about audio, but these headphones kinda suck and it really just sounds like they're doing mids and highs. Also, there's no on and off button on this, so you kinda have to take the batteries out so they don't drain. Overall, this figure is just a novelty. It looks great in robot mode and alt mode, but you're not really gonna wanna use this as an MP3 player. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out my other videos as well. And if you don't wanna support me by giving me your firstborn child, then a sub to my Patreon for $1 a month works too. Okay, thanks, bye.